Concludes section verses 4 through 9. Read that paragraph right. Start the paragraph right before.
Abraham's lapse of faith.
Yeah, this section is entitled Abraham's Lapse of Faith.
South is the right direction to go for warmer weather. So this man is moving south. He has itchy feet and he's a nomad. Now we come to the blot in his life, actually the second one. And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down to Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in that land. Genesis 12, verse 10. Abram was in the land, and there was a place of blessing. And God never told him to leave, but a famine was in the land. And I think one morning Abram pushed back the flap of his tent, looked out and said, Sarai, it looks like everybody's going to Egypt. There's a famine, and it's getting worse. Maybe we ought to think about going down. And I suppose Sarai said, anything you want to do, Abram. I'm your wife. I'll go with you. It sounds like me to you. Anything you want to do, I'll go with you.
You can make a home out of an outhouse.
Yep, exactly. I'm your wife, and I'll go with you.
With some curtains, you can make any place look like a home.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. I suppose Sarai said, anything you want to do, I'm your wife. I'll go with you. After a few days had gone by, and Abram had talked to some of these travelers, probably coming from the north of where he was living, and bringing the news that the famine was getting worse and was moving south. I imagine that he said to Sarai one evening, I think we better pack it up and go to Egypt. So Abraham and Sarai started down to Egypt. Now notice that God had not told him to do that. When God had appeared to him the last time, he said, this is it, Abram. This is the land I'm going to give you. You will be a blessing, and I'm going to bless you here. But you see, Abram didn't believe God. He went down to the land of Egypt. Now in the Bible, Egypt is a picture of the world. You'll find that all the way through. I think it's still a picture of the world. This was my opinion of it when I was there. But Abram went down to Egypt. So amazing how the world draws Christians today. So many of them rationalize. They'll say, Brother McGee, we're not able to come to church on Sunday night because we've got to get up and go to work on Monday morning. Well, almost everybody has to do that. It's amazing that those same people can go to a banquet on a weeknight, sit through a long-winded program with lots of music, lots of talk, and they're not worried about getting up for work the next morning. It's amazing how the world draws Christians today and how they can rationalize. I think that if you had met Abram going down to Egypt and he had said, wait a minute, Abram, you're going the wrong direction. You should be staying in the land. That Abram could have given you a very good reason. He might have said, look, my sheep are getting pretty thin and there's not any pasture for them. Since there's plenty of grazing land for them down in Egypt, we're going down there. And so that's where they went. However, immediately there's a problem, and it well, I am so sorry. There is a problem, and it concerns Sarai because she is a beautiful woman. And it came to pass when he was come near to enter the gate of Egypt, enter into Egypt, that he said unto Sarai his wife, behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon. Therefore it shall come to pass, when the Egyptians shall see thee, they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me. But they will save thee alive. Genesis 12, 11 and 12. Well, as you probably know, over along the northwest shore of the Dead Sea, ancient scrolls were found in the caves there, and they're known as the Dead Sea Scrolls. At first, the unbelieving scholars thought that they had found something that would disprove the Bible. I love that. But have you noticed how silent the higher critics have become? They just don't seem to have found anything that contradicts the Bible. Among the scrolls was a set which couldn't be unrolled because they were so fragile. They had been wrapped up so long they would just shatter and come to pieces. One name could be seen, the name Lamech. So they were all carved all called part of the Book of Lamech and said to be one of the apocryphal books of the Bible. Boy, how incorrect this was. The nation Israel brought them, and in the museum, the experts began to moisten and soften in them until they were unrolled. The scholars found that they contained Genesis 12, 13, 14, and 15, not in the Bible text, but rather in their interpretation of it. In the part that deals with chapter 12, it tells about the beauty of Sarai, actually describing her features and telling how beautiful she was. It confirms what we read of her in the Word of God. Now, the same scroll gives a description of Abram's exploration after God told him to walk through the land in the length of it and in the breadth of it. Genesis 13:17. The scroll gives a first person account by Abram and his journey. It confirms what the Bible has said about the land's beauty and fertility. The eyewitness, whether or not it was really Abram, we do not know, certainly confirmed the Bible record. A great many people who visit that land today can't understand how it can be called a land of milk and honey. Well, in the book of Deuteronomy, we learn what caused the desolation that is seen here today. But it was a glorious land in Abram's day. However, there were periods of famine, and Abram left the land, went down to Egypt during such time. As Abram neared Egypt, he recognized that he would get into difficulty because of the beauty of his wife. So he said to Sarai, "Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee." Genesis 12 and verse 13. Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister. Well, that was half a lie. As we see, half a lie is sometimes worse than the whole lie. And it certainly was intended to deceive. Abram's fears were well founded because Pharaoh did take Sarai. We know from the book of Esther that in those days there was a period of preparation for a woman to become a wife of a ruler. And during that period of preparation, God plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues and let him know he was not to take Sarai as his wife. And Pharaoh called Abram and said, "What is it that thou hast done unto me? Why did this not tell me that she was thy wife? Why said thou, she is my sister? So I might have taken her to me to a wife. Now therefore, behold thy wife, take her and go thy way." Pharaoh commanded his men concerning him, and they sent him away and his wife and all that he had. Genesis 12:18 through 20. God, you see, was overruling the lives of Abram and Sarai, but God did not appear to him while he was in the land of Egypt.
And that concludes J. Vernon McGee's commentary in verses 10 through 20. Now let's look at Chuck Smith's commentary on verses 10 through 20. That kind of reminded me of a story of two sisters, half to lie and half a lie. Half a lie would always tell half a lie, and half to lie would always have to lie.
I've never heard that. I just
came up with it. I knew it'd make you laugh.
Oh, it did.
There is always a drought in Beersheba, so he should have never moved down to Beersheba.
Really?
In the first place, the common practice in Egypt is to kill and take the wife, like David did with Bathsheba. Encouraging God continued to honor Abraham, to use Abraham, and don't think that God cannot use you because you're not perfect. Special protection, an edict of the Pharaoh, so that men would not take Sarai away from him, as we see here.
Yeah.
And so, that's the basis. I kind of like what it says up here. I may steal this and use it tomorrow night. In
Which part?
The part about how they'll go to a banquet in the middle of the week and stay up, but then they won't come Sunday night because they got to go to work the next week.
I've seen that happen
And
many
so,
times.
I might steal that and put it in tomorrow night's lesson. But anyway, stay tuned for tomorrow night. We'll go over the lesson, and when we get home, Lord willing, the creeks don't rise.
Yeah.
It's on Unruly is the title of tomorrow night's lesson at CR. Oh, I haven't made up. I haven't made up a thing for tomorrow night.
What thing?
For Facebook. For Facebook, I always make up put the lesson on Facebook.
Yeah.
I should have done that last night and I forgot.
Yeah.
There's too much for me to do, people.
There's a lot of things. He never gets done.
I don't think that we have had any comments or questions since the last time. I encourage you to make comments and ask questions. We did have a comment, but it was on one of the political posts. Apparently, one of the I think it was Maryland or Connecticut decided to put tampons in the men's restrooms, and so and call it Timothy.
Get out of here!
The Timothy bill.
Oh my goodness!
So that meme that I put it on there sometime back, the dancing queen got a comment.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so we do encourage you to make comments and ask questions, and so but if you want to remain anonymous, we are a 501c3 company. Our name is Christ Recovery Ministry, and we are at P.O. Box 336, Berea, Kentucky 40403. Phone number is 859-339-7633 if you wish to opine, name and town, and let us know if you wish to remain anonymous, and we will keep you anonymous that way.
Yes.
And so with that, we don't have any further ado, so we will close as we always do with our favorite little closing song.
A little good night until we meet again. Adios, au revoir, arrivederci till then. And oh, it's always sweet sorrow to part.
You'll know you'll always remain in my heart. Good night, sweetheart. Until we meet again. Here's a wish and a prayer that every dream comes true. And until we meet again. Adios, au revoir, arrivederci.
Good night.
And with that, we want you to know that you are truly loved. And with that, we say good night.
Good night.
Our show, hit songs and fashions through the years. We hope we brought you some pleasant memories. Now from all of our musical family, good wishes, good health, and good night.